Top Talk Web is back. Okay, got a big recruiting roundup. First off, graduate kicker to Bama, Austin Jones from Temple. He's going to compete with Bullivos for the starting job, which is great because Lord knows we need a kicker. But I think that will improve. That's one thing we haven't really had at Bama, except for we had Tiffin. And the rest of them just hadn't been so hot. Like I said, here we're going to go down some people that we have. And then after that, I'm going to go back through some guys who I think will sign with Bama on this coming Wednesday. Like I said, I think Quay Walker, the linebacker, committed to Alabama. I think he won't decommit, but I don't think he signs with Bama. I know that his recruiter was Jeremy Pruitt, and obviously Pruitt's in Tennessee, so I'm just going to go ahead and say it and preface all this video with saying what really hurt us in this recruiting cycle wasn't Bama winning a lot. It wasn't other places look sexier than Bama. It was, bottom line was, we lost over half our coaching staff who've been recruiting these kids, so they get other jobs and they keep recruiting these kids, and it just stinks. But anyway, I think Quay Walker, long-time commit. I think Tennessee and Georgia are in the mix. I don't think he signs with Georgia. I think he goes with Tennessee. Like I said, I think they're the favorite to land him, mainly because of Pruitt and his relationship with Pruitt. Now, if Pruitt was still at Bama, he signs with Bama, hands down. Like I said, but I think he's still the favorite for that one. I mean, he still could sign with the Tide, but it's very, very unlikely. But then again, given the fact he hasn't decommitted, that could say something. I don't know. Like I said, we've been wanting to take a quarterback in this class. I don't think we sign a quarterback, though. Like I said, the James Foster out of Montgomery, where he's got an offer out there. He's looking. 3-star Arizona native Brock Purdy in my neck of the woods. He's got an offer. I don't think he comes. Like I said, the kid that a lot of people wanted that was going to Princeton, man, at Brevin White, I think he just, for whatever reason, just wants to go to Princeton. He wants to play in the Ivy League, and if he's good, it doesn't really matter. He'll get signed. He'll find a way into the league, so it's not about that. I think he wants to go somewhere where there's more education, not just a football factory, which he could do both at Bama, but constraints on time are a lot more on football than he would have at Princeton, where he can spend a little more time studying too. But, all the best to him. At wide receiver, I know we're after Justin Ross out of Phoenix City. Big time. He's a big 6'4" guy. He's not exactly fast, but he's huge, a big body receiver, kind of like Julio was. Like I said, Jalen Waddle. If I could have Justin Ross or Jalen Waddle out of Texas, I'd rather have Jalen Waddle. I think he's better. We know that A&M has gone all in on that kid to replace Christian Kirk. I think, though, he's looking at the Tide seriously. I think he sees that A&M doesn't have a barn burner quarterback or a great team around him, especially on defense. It would not surprise me if Waddle does sign with the Tide. As well as we're also looking at Florida native Jacob Copeland. He's somebody kind of off the radar, even though everybody says that Florida is a big pull for him. Tight end, like I said, we're also looking at Glenn Beal, Louisiana product, 3-star. Michael Parker out of Huntsville, he's committed. He'll probably be a gray shirt or a blue shirt. Like I said, offensive line-wise, the guy that we really want is Nicholas Petit-Ferrer. Like I said, a lot of schools are still in on this guy. Notre Dame is, Ohio State is, Michigan is. A lot of people don't know where he's leaning. We're also in for Utah offensive guards, Penini Sewell. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if Ferrer signs with Bama. I think he is a Bama lean. I think he wants to play at Bama. I really think he goes in. On the defensive line, we're in for Bobby Brown, Malik Langham, and the guy that's the outside shot is Moro Ojomo. And Moro Ojomo is actually, from what I've heard, is a very underrated talent, and he's a stud. He's under the radar, but the Tide wants him bad. Brown, he's a 4-star Texas A&M commit. He's been committed to Alabama since December. Langham is another guy, Huntsville product. He visited Bama on the 19th. He's basically picking between the Tide and Auburn, and Florida's also in the mix. I think Langham does go with the Tide. I hope he does. Like I said, another deal. He had ties to previous coaches, so hopefully he goes with the Tide. We definitely have a spot there for him. We need a pass rush, so he's definitely a linebacker, like I said. Quay Walker, I think, is out. We're also after four-star Texas native Vernon Jackson. He's a guy, A&M's after him, TCU's after him, but I know we're after him. The guy that I think does sign with Bama out of the blue is J.J. Peterson out of Tennessee. He's committed to Tennessee, but man, we have been pulling strong here for him. It would not surprise me if Peterson does sign with Bama. Peterson is the number 3 outside linebacker, and we definitely need one in this class. Other possibilities that we could maybe have is Jalen Moody out of South Carolina, but I don't know. I don't really see that. Defensive back, this is where we can make our biggest splash. We need guys to come right in. All our defensive backfield is gone, absolutely every one of them. No really big stars coming in to fill roles. A lot of holes there. It's one of the schools that you could easily just walk in and play. That's how kind of under recruited I think we've been the last 2 years. We've had issues there. I think we could have had a bigger splash recruiting a defensive back if Ainsley would have stayed, but he didn't, so a lot of the guys are up in the air. I definitely want Patrick Surtain. I really think he would be a huge gift for us. Also, Campbell wants to play with Surtain, another 5-star cornerback. They want to play together. They've made it known. They're keeping tight-lipped where they want to go. But I knew they were committed to, or Surtain was committed to LSU. I don't think LSU gets him. He knows LSU's not going nowhere. They're not going to win the West. They're not going to win the SEC championship. They're not going to the playoffs anytime soon. So it would not surprise me if Patrick Surtain and Tyson Campbell went ahead and signed with Bama. Some other guys that we're after is Isaac Taylor Stewart, and one guy that's really underrated, Eddie Smith, that we're after could possibly sign. It would not. I really think. I think Surtain and Campbell do sign with Bama. I think last minute they pull the trigger, they walk in and are stars from day one at Bama. I really see that happening. Like I said, here's the Friday morning recruiting roundup. Sorry I'm a few days late. We did figure out the wide receiver out of Texas, Waddle, has been favoring Alabama. I think if he pulls the gun early and commits Wednesday morning, I think you're going to see Ross go elsewhere. I think he goes to Clemson. I really think Ross is a Clemson lean, man. I really think them or Auburn are. Because we are kind of loaded at wide receiver right now. But I do see Waddle signing with Bama. I could be wrong, but I see him signing with Bama. Petit Ferrer, I think he does sign with Bama. He's got good vibes. Some of my contacts down at Tuscaloosa said they like the kid. Langham, I don't know, man. I'm still on the fence about this guy. I would like to say he'd sign with the Tide, but I'm not positive. Brown, Bama commit since December, like we talked before, on the defensive line. It'll get dicey if he goes to Arlington, Texas, and takes a last-minute visit. That could get dicey. But we could jump in on Katy, Texas defensive lineman Moro Ojomo, like I said before. 6'3", 285, super fast. But then again, we're fighting Ohio State, Texas, Oklahoma, Notre Dame, and Oregon for this kid. But out of all those schools, the only other sexy one is Ohio State. But we're Bama. So we'll see how that turns out. Walker, like I said, linebacker gone. I think Peterson could commit to Alabama and sign Wednesday out of the blue. That'd be a big pickup. Jalen Moody, like I said, is another linebacker we could possibly take on that group, but I don't think he signs with Alabama. I've heard from my people that he likes Arkansas. He likes Chad Morris, so who knows. Surtain and Campbell, man, I know that Tosh Lapui and Joe Panuzzi are all over these guys, constantly texting them, all in with these guys. I think these are two of the ones they want most on Wednesday morning. It would not surprise me if both these kids sign with Bama. I think we got a really, really good chance. Like I said, Campbell's the only one that's interesting because I do know from my sources that Kirby Smart is pulling all the hat tricks out to get Campbell. He seriously wants Campbell bad. Like I said, and they have a good shot too just because they're up and coming, and as we saw in the national championship, Georgia's defensive backfield is not so hot. If we'd had Tua playing from the first quarter, we'd have ate their ass all night long. Because, Ridley was getting open. Judy was getting open. Smith was, they were burning him all night. So he needs definitely help there. I know Kirby Smart's going to work every angle, but Bama's the sexy one. Plus, we sent a ton of defensive backs to the pros. Another guy that could potentially sign late for Bama, depending on if If Surtain and Campbell go ahead and sign with Bama, Taylor Stewart, they're the 5-star defensive back out of Cali, doesn't sign. He goes elsewhere. But if we don't get either one of those guys, it would not surprise me if Taylor Stewart signs with Bama. That being said, I'm going to do some more research, have another video for y'all coming up soon. Roll Tide, let's keep our fingers crossed, and hopefully we can come out with at least 2 more 5-stars, defensive backs preferably, and a few more defensive linemen in this class, and at least J.J. Peterson at linebacker. We'll be set, baby. Anyway, may all your caviar dreams come true, and roll Tide on.